You're right to raise that question, and it is a matter for them in an open market economy. They have to make a decision. It could be that a bank or banks decide to absorb some of that cost and make themselves more attractive to customers and make a virtue of that. I would be unsurprised if that were the case. As I said, I want big and strong and profitable banks, but the big four banks have had profits of $92 billion collectively over the past 4 years. They could make a decision, one or more of them could make a decision to absorb that cost. They could make a decision to pass it on, which would then mean their customers would bear that in mind and look at their returns, and they may make a decision accordingly. But you're right to point out, Mark, with all seriousness and respect to the banks, that this government stepped in during the global financial crisis and made an important step to guarantee bank deposits. More than one person have pointed out it was absolutely vital to the survival and prosperity of our banks. Now, a few years later, in light of the changing circumstances, the IMF and the Council of Regulators look at this and say to the government, we think it's time that the banks make a contribution to that guarantee, not just leave it all to the taxpayer, but make a contribution to that guarantee, a modest one, 5 basis points, over the years, and let it build up. Now, that is, I think, a reasonable approach. It's a sensible approach. I'll continue to work constructively with the banks. I believe that I have in the past and will continue to do so in various portfolios. But the government is obliged to take into account good policy advice and act on it, even if it may not please everybody all of the time. David.